deep in the heart of a heavily accented Eurotrash dystopia, probably Sweden or Denmark, atop the dizzying heights of the Tower of the Titans, sits a heavily shielded conference room of mahogany and leather. Past the gleaming lobby, echoing with the tap of patent leather shoes. Beyond the hulking security guards in Italian suits. 3 lefts past the soulless robotic death traps that would blend the brain meats and implode the sphincters of the unwary. Before they could ever reach the elevator in which the muzak deters all but the perverse and heretical. An all-powerful council assembles. These baleful brinkmen and malign machinators would normally spend their days scrutinizing those societies that scrutinize the films which are rumored to drive viewers to madness and dissolution, and probably enjoying espresso and open-faced sandwiches. But today, matters of great importance must be discussed, where the heretical chapter of the Cinemania Society remains sadly undismembered and distinctly not dissolved in acid.
Phone. Somebody give me a goddamn phone. I need to make a long-distance tirade.
Here you go, Hefe.
Okay, let's see.
Heidi, hoi!
Blessed elder brother Methuselah, please share the good news with us.
The original Roadhouse remains untouched by the Gyllenhaal remake.
The apostates.
Oh yes, they're quite good, thank you for asking, and I'm sure they would love to make amends if they could just be given a chance.
Forget about it. You had one job, you stinking Panamalese. How hard is it? You just had to hold him still long enough for the cinema assassins to shoot him in the Okefenokee heads. You failed us for the last time. Again. When I get my hands on you, it's gonna be bad in ways that are elaborate.
Wait, they're still alive?
All right, I'm just gonna say it. What the actual fuck, guys? We're supposed to be better than this? Especially for the kind of money we've been spending on top-shelf cinema assassins. It's just not possible. Categorically, tits up. Something doesn't add up, and if things don't add up, I feel faint. I need a Gatorade, but we can't afford Gatorade anymore. Oh, I really need to audit something.
Elaborate plans and overly ambitious costumed assassination attempts only reveal the mocking face of an uncaring cosmos.
In English, if you like.
We have been relying on incredibly expensive and weirdly themed assassins. Maybe we're overthinking this?
Shut your slut mouth! No one accuses us of overthinking.
Overacting, perhaps.
I hate to agree with really anyone, but we're certainly overspending this, and our results have been, well...
We've tried everything. These guys, they just freakally on my capiche, am I right? This is turning into a mayong full of gabagool.
I mean, probably.
So that's it then, right? You turn the page, close the book, turn the library into a Starbucks, call it a day.
We're reasonable men. We're not simple thugs and violent people.
Speak for yourself. Klaus Kinski didn't have shit on me.
And?
It's time we started being unreasonable, thuggish, and violent. It's time to call in the big guns.
Like how we used all the guys.
Wait. Not all of our guys. Do you mean?
The last option. The final sanction.
That's bad juju. And you know it. We never send them.
No. We don't have the budget for them anymore. You don't want to owe them. You know what happened to the producer. No one wants to be the producer.
Oh, show some backbone, you bag of ossified cowardice. The final sanction. The last cinema assassin. The answer to every question, why? The bleak ultimate truth awaiting us all. You speak of death himself.
I'll get on the phone.
No need, gentlemen. I'm already here. I've always been here.
Fuck!
Whoa!
I thought we had people watching the door.
No gate can slow him. No wall can stop him.
That's crazy. I love it.
No little hedge can make him go around the other way. No sign with big red letters can make him stop for a minute.
Magnifique. Grafani Babatouche.
No angry dog can make him reconsider and then think about coming back later.
We get it.
It doesn't even make a difference if you know what your door situation is.
Doors are not the problem.
Do we have their most recent location?
No need to warm up your dancing shoes, compadre. I already know where they will be when they meet their fate, and I'll be there to meet them.
Excellent. So you'll go right there and do your thing.
Well, hang on to your weapon of choice a moment there. Figure I'll just sit back around the edges for a while. You know, stand on the horizon at sunset and stare at them a while. Let them see what's coming. Probably send in a couple of my boys first in a series of escalating skirmishes rather than turn up in person. You know, build things up a bit.
You mean padding out your expense account the whole time, I imagine?
The pageantry of doom, the ponderous footfalls of annihilation grow ever closer.
We just need these guys gone, you know.
You can ease up on that account. I do what I do, and ain't nobody does it better. If you want a case of mild inconvenience, you pick up your bitty little phone and dial them digits for Mr. Vague Distress. You got a job needs doing that shouldn't need doing twice, and that's why you called for me.
So, just to be clear, you're gonna kill those assholes?
In one, Chief.
This episode of the Cinemania Society was written, produced, and performed by Daniel Scribner, Hope Bravo, Ethan Ireland, Andy Slack, and Zachariah Burks, with special guest star Keith Lowell Jensen. Music by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio, with sound effects and incidental music courtesy of Epidemic Sound. Visit us on Facebook at the Cinemania Society, or email us at thecinemaniasociety@gmail.com. The Cinemania Society is a production of the Cinemania Society, LLC.
This is educational. Everyone, take in the education.
Trust you to take the fun out of whatever this is.
Hey, I figured you'd recognize this right away. It's the world's biggest tiny model of New York. Check out the little street scenes. Take in the tiny views. We could take in a miniature show on tiny Broadway.
Yeah. I mean, I would have known right away. It's just that they got the Bowery all wrong. It should be shitty.
To be fair, this place has seen better days. I'll say it. This is a fucking ruin.
Is this it? This is a bunch of wrecked tiny buildings. It's like the tiny end of the tiny world over here.
It's the end of the world as we
Oh, God, no singing!
No singing!
Well, you said it was the tiny, so I had to do it tiny.
Was that even singing?
Oh, check this out. Tiny wrecked Hard Rock Cafe. I always wanted to visit one of these. Look at all the little Elvises spilled out onto the street.
Elvis sees.
Elvi.
Elvis Sen, the Elv Helen, elder children of the Elvis Vatar.
Little fucking rock and roll guys.
Apocalyptic ruins. Rock and roll. Elvises everywhere.
Elvi.
You know, this reminds me of a movie.
Of course it does.
It's my turn to pick, right? And we have time for a conclave, right?
Do we have to? It always ends badly.
It's what we do.
How badly could they wreck a ruin?
I guess.
All right, hold my beer.
Okay, what do you got for us, Z?
Okay, so get this. Fleeing the ruins of a buffet gone bad. Lost in the nearby reasonably priced tourist attractions with a lovely gift shop. The members of a secret society try to continue their work condemning the perverse and heretical. To scrutinize those films which are rumored to drive viewers to madness and disillusion. Draw closer, dear listener. Let your trembling ears sup upon the eldritch knowledge of the Cinemania Society.
We the fellows of the Lens Hall do convene to judge if this fine cinema worthy of our esteem, or whether it should be cast down as worthless hokum. Let us start our offenses in judgment.
We the fellows. Oh.
Please be seated. And welcome to our listeners, to whom I will now issue this warning. We, the disciples of the Cinemania Society, have studied the mysteries of the motion picture and meditated upon the silver screen for many years. Therefore, we have become inured to the films we scrutinize, which may contain hazards unsuitable to the young and sensitive ears. As such, we advise anyone listening to do so with discretion. Guard your ears carefully, lest you develop a severe and irreversible case of Cinemania. Present at our conclave tonight are...
Inquisitor Ethan, keeper of the lenses.
Profligator Daniel, possessor of the word.
Auntie Hope, keeper of the books.
Professor Andrea, scholar of San Francisco.
And Verifier Andy, master illuminator.
I am Scrutinizer Zachariah, guardian of the door. I will be serving as Pontifex of Presentment for tonight's subject of scrutiny.
Pontifex.
Pontifex!
No, it's better this way.
I was just waiting for Ethan to get angry at that.
Pontifex. Tomato, tomato. All right. Six-String Samurai. A pop art, pop culture, pop music extravaganza from 1998. Directed by Lance Mungia. Mungia. It's the only movie I ever did, so whatever. Filled with martial arts, guitars, groovy violence, and more Elvises than you can shake your hips at.
Oh, right. We totally forgot about this part.
Who's going to be Master Castigator?
I will act as Master Castigator for this conclave, and I will present the charges.
Okay, go for it.
Really having way too many Elvises, that's Elvi, causing grammatical confusion, RE, proper pluralization of Elvis, referencing music that your dad would have to explain to you, or perhaps even your grandfather, orphaning a child with zero backstory,
Being too awesome for this sad world.
Do it right!
Gratuitous awesomeness beyond the acceptable levels.
Better. Serious trigger warnings include violence and child abandonment, which actually is not funny at all. So, serious trigger warning, guys.
Yeah. All right, this one's close to my heart, guys. Is it too much to ask we approach this with an open mind and caring spirits?
That's
Seriously?
optimistic.
Who are you looking at?
Just get on with it. Let's get con with the clave. Get it?
Yes.
What?
Right from the start, it looks like things have gone unfortunately. There are nuclear explosions, flames, the crackle of a radio announcer, the usual sorts of things you find whenever the world ends, you know? I don't want to set the world on fire.
No. Wait. How do you do that? How did you get that sound? It sounded like you were out of an old radio. Jesus Christ.
Dark secrets.
Oh, I was waiting for I know. Barbershop never changes.
Right, but history sure has.
It's not barbershop.
It's funnier, though.
It's doo-wop.
In 1957, sadly, the bombs fell. Russia invaded what was once America, and the only free zone remaining is a place called Las Vegas, where Elvis rules as king. After 40 rockin' years, the king is dead, and anyone handy with a sword and or guitar is looking to fill those big blue suede shoes. What we need right now is some kind of rockin' and rolling hero.
I need a hero!
What did I just say about singing?
Sorry, I couldn't help it. I haven't eaten in 2 days, and I am getting punchy.
And the people currently fleeing through long grasses from a crowd of angry mutant assholes, they could really use that hero. Suddenly, there is an angry battle cry, and some skinny Buddy Holly-looking dude with a katana leaps into the fight and shows those mutants what for. But who is the tall, dark fellow in a top hat, just wandering past while bad dudes are finding out what it's like to fall face first into a bacon slicer?
Ooh.
Probably not important. Don't mind him.
Fucking sword guy.
Just gotta love me a nerd with a katana.
Do you know?
Sounds like your type.
You would love Comic-Con then.
Sadly, Buddy wasn't in time to save everyone, and there's a newly minted wasteland orphan left behind after the fight. This kid has the easiest job remembering lines in the whole movie, as he just communicates in a series of barely civilized grunts and whines. Honestly, I blame the parents.
Yeah, me too.
Or, the trauma of living in a post-apocalyptic wasteland and being suddenly and murderously orphaned?
Yeah, parents.
Yeah, going with parents.
Yeah, parents.
Or lack thereof.
Buddy also is not exactly on board with the idea of looking after some random kid and tells him to flutter away, little butterfly. Because Buddy Holly with a samurai sword in a nuclear wasteland is just rad as heck like that. But you know how it is. If you save someone in the wasteland from rad mutant bandits, you might as well get used to the fact that they're going to stick with you from then on. It's like wasteland law number 3.
Yep.
Buddy makes a real effort to get this kid to just, kindly fuck off. He's doing his due diligence as an apocalyptic anti-hero.
He's a lone wolf who don't need no fucking cub.
Damn straight.
That is for sure. He threatens to slice that cub's precious teddy bear in half, or else summon up a spinach monster or something with rock and roll magic to deal with him. Hey, this kid is kind of an idiot. For all he knows, that's really a thing. However, the lad will not be dissuaded.
Amazingly, the kid decides to leave behind his teddy bear and go with Buddy Holly.
So that's actually kind of fascinating, because Buddy has drawn a literal line in the sand, and then, before he crosses it, the kid erases the line, like it's some kind of, occult circle drawing that he's, ruining. But he still leaves his teddy bear behind as a sacrifice of his innocence to keep moving forward with our anti-hero.
No, it's actually kind of interesting. You did mention Lone Wolf and Cub, and there is a scene right at the beginning when the lone wolf is planning to take his path of vengeance and tells the kid, I'm putting before you like a ball and a sword. If you pick the ball, I'll send you to your mother, i.e. kill him, so you don't have to go along on this like path to hell, as he puts it. And then he says, but if you pick the sword, you can come with me on the path to vengeance. And the baby crawls over to the sword, and that's why he takes him with him. And I was kind of always looking at this as sort of similar, he's leaving childhood behind so that he can walk.
Oh, yeah. This movie is lousy with both like esoterica and anime references.
Yes, totally.
Just like The Mandalorian.
It is my pick after all.
Pretty soon, they've come to the wreckage of a pre-war gas station by the side of the endless apocalyptic desert road. And for reasons that I don't think even need explaining, there is a group of Elvis-themed commies putting on a post-punk rock and roll show. Look, it's the 90s, all right? Everything is in danger of devolving into a music video at literally any moment.
You don't want to listen to Russian rock and roll?
They do. They really do. This is the era when, like, MTV was at its peak. So let's just keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah.
These are the Red Elvises, and just get fucking used to it.
I saw them live. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, and Buddy isn't the only one passing by this quaint roadside spot. There's a group of, stay with me here, 10-pin bowling-themed bad guys who are apparently a bowling-based badass band of banditos, because the Red Elvises weren't bad enough. The Red Elvises, they have a quick conference, decide, you know what, we're just going to keep playing for now. We can always get involved in the inevitable mayhem later. As previously mentioned, the king is dead, and so every rock and roll themed bunch of vagabonds is looking to take the number one spot with them both. Ideal. Turns out that's Buddy's goal too, as he conveniently explains to the local licensed wackadoo.
I think the High Council, this is where they get their ideas for Cinema Assassins.
Could be. This all feels very Warriors to me. I don't know about the rest of it.
That's true.
I just love the Wasteland bar aesthetic.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. The broken glasses, down to like literally drinking out of broken glasses.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you're gonna cut yourself.
Or swallow glass. Jesus. And then there's that weird kid just going, have a nice day.
Oh, that fucking kid. We're gonna get to him.
Yeah.
So the bunch of bald bowling-based balladeers decide to try their luck taking on Buddy. There's a bit of trash talk, and it is so cheesy it could collapse a Frenchman.
Ooh.
They will let Buddy go if he gives up his precious guitar. They reckon he's all washed up, past it, old news, ancient gossip. But the time for trash talk is over as they reveal their, bowling-themed weaponry and set to a run.
Pretty awesome.
It was pretty.
Yeah.
But these guys have all the brutal power and fighting consistency of a wet Post-it note. Buddy just beats the tar out of them. He doesn't even draw his sword. These guys don't know how to take a beating and start retreating. So then they try the old sucker stab maneuver with a knife hidden in a bullet. Because, that old chestnut.
I don't want one of those.
Like, seriously, their brand commitment is admirable. If only their fighting prowess matched up. Buddy tried using reason and debate, but now it's just a good firm sorting and good night. God bless to the pin pals. The Red Elvises, meanwhile, who have been watching, make a successful wisdom roll and decide that maybe now is not the best time to get involved.
Good decision.
You know where I saw him live? I saw him at Old Ironsides in Sacramento. And I went with Sarah, Queen of Trash, and Mr. Lobo.
That is entirely on brand for both the band, you, and Sacramento.
I love how dedicated they were and just did not stop playing the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely in keeping with them.
It's just like live action, score for the fight scene. They just watched the fight and start adapting.
Hey, the world has ended, but the show must go on.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Bar Band 101.
Yep.
Yeah. They're both actors and like characters in the movie, but also the music, like the score.
Yeah.
So
they did all of the score for this movie, which is great.
So technically, since this is a gas station, it is no surprise that a car turns up, a beaten up, rusted apocalypse car, of course, driven by some guy who looks basically like a low rent knockoff Bruce Campbell / Clint Eastwood, I don't know, which, basically means he looks like Bruce Campbell.
Groovy.
This is where things get a little out of hand. At just the moment that a bunch of mutant troglodytes are passing in their tricked-out pickup truck with, I shit you not, a crude medieval catapult lashed to the back.
Was it a catapult or was it actually a trebuchet?
No, it was a catapult.
It was a catapult.
Oh,
Yeah.
just wanted to confirm.
A trebuchet has a counterbalancing weight mechanism.
And no basket.
I know, I've built one.
So, it's right at this moment, though, that our aforementioned vile local urchin decides to throw a rock at Buddy, because the kid is a fucking asshole. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. So, Buddy expertly deflects the rock, which of course hits a troglodyte, and that starts a whole secondary rumble happening. Since this is definitely a good time to leave, Buddy's adopted friend rolls up, having apparently stolen the Bruce-like guy's car while everyone else was getting mutant. Buddy and the kid make treks out of Groove Town.
I mean, the kid finally proved himself useful, so now Buddy's okay with him, I guess.
Right?
Love the stack of books that he ties to his feet so he can get to the pedals. It's
real short round moment.
Yes. No time for love, Dr. Jones. So the Bruce dude they rob tries to lick off a shot with his rifle, which, of course, accidentally ignites some spilled gas, and the whole place explodes dramatically. Rad as hell.
You know what else is rad as hell that I just realized? Short Round has an Oscar. Dr. Jones doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
No time for Jones, Dr. Love.
So, do you guys remember the sinister top hat guy from before? Because he remembers you. He turns up at the wreckage of the gas station, apparently tracking Buddy. He has a crew with him now who are similarly sinister, and apparently all like to use bows and arrows because reasons. They call Top Hat Comrade Death, which tells us two things. One, this shadowy creature is apparently the incarnation of death, and two, what's worse, he's a commie.
Was there ever any guess? I mean, why is there any thought or debate over this? Of course, everybody gets some.
He's a great equalizer.
To each according to his means.
Now, Death ain't pleased that Buddy has gotten away. In fact, he had paid the Red Elvises to get Buddy. In fact, he had paid the Red Elvises to get Buddy, and he's not exactly pleased with the outcome of that transaction. That is what you get for being a commie. Death notes that they do have nice shoes, at least, before exercising his displeasure. And by that, everyone, I mean the Red Elvises have left the movie. But at least the Death Gang nicked some nice rock and roll shoes out of it, so, silver linings.
You know, that's one way you can tell it's a 90s movie. Someone is killed for their shoes.
Is that a 90s thing?
That was really a 90s thing with the frickin' Jordans and stuff. You're from New York and Jersey. That shit happened all the time.
Yeah. I thought you meant in movies. I didn't remember it in movies. Yeah, no. Okay.
No, just like in real life in the 90s, there was that rash of people just being shot for their shoes. It was sad.
It's actually gone away.
I think that was just a rumor, though, wasn't it? It was sort of part of the whole like moral panic over gangs in the 90s.
You might be
right.
It
was a rumor, but the news, they ran with it.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure that it was highly exaggerated for those purposes. Yeah, there were a few incidents. There actually still today are a few incidents. But moving right along down the road, things can hardly be said to have improved much for Buddy. The catapult cavemen are hot on our hero's heels and howling hellishly. But then, they run out of gas and are reduced to angry yelling and foot pursuit, which goes as well as you would expect against a car. I guess that's why they showed up at the gas station in the first place. But eventually, Buddy's feloniously acquired car also gives up the ghost. Buddy simply gets out and starts walking. He has a seriously single-minded attitude. The kid makes the follow, and once again, Buddy tries to persuade him to go the fuck away, please, with various glaring, yelling, and so on. Now, Buddy could go ahead.
I think it's funny that they're catapulting gumballs at them, like candy.
I missed that. Is that where the fucking gumballs all came from?
Yeah, that's where the gumballs came from. The troglodytes were loading them into the catapult and flinging them at them, and they're just being rained with gumballs, and then Buddy pops one in his mouth and is playing his guitar while blowing bubble gum.
Wait, so
these cavemen are actually working up towards the Stone Age.
Why are they flinging gumballs? I thought they're trying to hurt people. It's not like a Festival of Los Tres Reyes. Jesus fucking Christ.
You ever been hit by it? You ever been hit by a
those
steel
gumballs look like
gumball?
they hurt. You get hit with enough of them, that's gonna hurt.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
they stick a bit, but they also have bows and arrows, which, by the way, they used on that kid, that little vile kid who totally deserved it. I'm just saying.
That wasn't the troglodytes. That was Death's minions. Ones that sound like Smurfs.
Style over substance, folks.
So, as we were saying, Buddy could have just left the kid to rot. However, those angry cavemen from before are finally starting to catch up, and it seems that Buddy is not willing to just leave the kid to their tender mercies, which probably means turning him into a chicken tender. He turns around and gets to sorting up some fools. It's not like he likes the kid or anything. He just happened to feel like saving his life again, that's all. What? Don't look at him like that. You don't know him. Now, save someone's life once, and they'll stick around for a bit. Save them 2 times, and you got yourself a permanent little minion. That's like Wasteland Law number 2. This kid ain't going nowhere. Where you going? Nowhere. But apparently everyone else is. Hey, guys? Guys? Where'd you get off to? Huh? Hello?
Check it out!
What the hell is that? It looks like a bunch of garbage and rubber bands were very much in love. But then their kid got the recessive, shitty mandolin gene.
It's my new guitar. I scrounged together some bits and pieces. I think it holds a pretty good tune. A pretty okay tune. Get into the spirit a little. Can't you feel the rock and roll spirit moving you, man?
I'm more into ritual chanting and ominous, terrifying bongo drums. Clark Nova, fetch me my Groove Master Splendido Bongo Deluxe.
Oh boy, this doesn't end well.
Hey, it could be worse. I used to play the oboe. But I'm trying to be less cruel for my New Year's resolution. Now, imagine there's like 100 chanting evil hippies for like the full effect.
Huh, okay, so we got a guitar, drums. Anyone else play an instrument?
Ooh, hold on. Just need to find a length of pipe. Length of pipe? Ooh, this'll do. Ooh, hard bit is always the little flappy keys. Okay, got it. Little party trick of mine. Okay, how's this?
Fucking hell, that's quite a trick.
Ha ha! Out of the way, let me through! You thought that was something. Why don't you check out this action? The lost art of playing the spoons. Reborn before your very eyes. You should be thankful that I didn't bring my didgeridoo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there.
sure.
That's nice.
The best spoons I've ever heard, I guess.
It's actually quite difficult, you know? Far more than you realize.
Yeah. That's, captivating. Andy, got anything to add to this?
Well, I did find this a mile or so back. I don't know why, but I thought I'd hang on to it in case it might come in handy sometime.
I was gonna ask about that, yeah.
And yet no one asked about the spoons I keep on my person, I notice.
Andrea, I bet you play the harp or the flute or some shit. Don't let me down here. Whatever you got. Come on.
Well, a couple of years ago.
Look, I'm not saying it's a bad song, it's just, who is the walrus supposed to be?
I think it's quite metaphorical.
Just play the fucking tune, or I'm going to get back over there, and your head's going to come together with this silver hammer.
That gives me an idea of 3, actually.
I wrote one about an octopus if you're interested.
I need a break. If Dr. Robert calls, tell him I'm only sleeping. Lyrics and experimental percussion.
Okay, well, we can use whatever that is, I guess. What do you guys say? There's nothing like a post-apocalyptic rock and roll show. We can do it.
You didn't ask me yet.
Yeah. That's because every band needs a roadie. You're it, buddy. Welcome on board.
I'm part of the thing. Huzzah!
You can carry my spoons.
Gladly, I'm helping the thing.
Great, and grab this, would you?
Oh, there go the elbows.
Enough with the musical musing. On with the conclave. I'll take this part. The car is, if not exactly a hot rod, still able to get around after a little tender, loving care. Buddy relaxes on the hood, just strumming his guitar while the kid tries to get the car working. He may have skipped language skills day, but apparently he's a whiz-bang auto mechanic. Possibly a kind of quiet Mad Max 2 reference? Oh well, anyway. But anyway, he manages to get the engine going, which starts sputtering out, and Buddy realizes they need a ratchet to get it going again.
That's not a specific tool.
Yeah, it is.
Ratcheting is something that many things do.
It's like a running theme in the film, though, that you can fix anything with a ratchet.
There's a ratcheting screwdriver, there's ratchet sockets, there's ratchet wrenches.
I'm pretty sure they're still referring to the nurse.
Before the term ratchet began being used as opposed to wretched in the 20-teens. This is well before that. So
I just think it's funny that Buddy Holly rides on top of the hood of the car.
Yeah.
Well, where else is he going to ride?
Where else do you ride? Wow, Ethan, wow.
I mean, that's a badass way to ride a car.
Well, anyhow, luckily among a field of windmills, they find a completely normal fellow enjoying a quick spot of golf practice in the garden of his only slightly singed, completely normal suburban bungalow. Well, he's delighted to see Buddy and the kid, acting as though they are old friends, even though he clearly has no idea who they are. Sure, he's got a ratchet in his bag somewhere, and he calls for his completely normal family to come say hi to the guests. This is all completely normal. Of course, the completely normals insist on having Buddy and the kid for a visit to their completely normal home. It's all done in that over-the-top 90s way of having the actors be wildly and aggressively all-American and nice that immediately signals that something is very wrong. Yeah, there's a lot of movies in this style, actually, kind of making fun of suburban.
You saw it in the 90s a hell of a lot. You know, the super perky family that turns out to be evil in some way.
It was really making fun of the, Leave It to Beaver style of acting that they had back then that a lot of, Gen Xers and stuff...
That's the exact reference.
Grew up watching that, just like, how the hell you been, you know?
Well, so if you look in the credits, that's how they're named. They are the Cleavers. He's in fact Lord Cleaver.
Yep.
And that does become a double entendre.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of 90s commentary on suburban life not being what it seems. You know, that it just feels like that is endemic to the 90s, starting with The Simpsons in 1988. But anyway.
The very Gen X thing.
Buddy obviously hasn't grown up around all the cliches because he has a great idea. This is just the kind of family he could dump the kid on. He wouldn't mind an extra little one. It saves him the bother having to deal with a bugger. No sooner has Buddy wandered off without a word when they decide it's dinner time, and guess who's on the menu?
Hey.
This kid is in a pot being showered with chopped carrots before you can say sudden but inevitable betrayal. And I am suddenly reminded of the movie Parents with Randy Quaid.
You know, yeah, seriously, it totally has those vibes, and that's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, the dad of the family, very, very Quaid-ish.
Yes, yeah, he's got that long, angular kind of nose and face, you know, and
leave it to the Cleavers.
Yeah.
And is this cannibal behavior normal?
Well, in America, yeah.
How do you get your protein?
Haven't you seen how the Republican Party is eating its own?
I don't watch a lot of apocalyptic films, so this was a bit of a...
So you don't watch Fox News?
I mean, we were talking about the news, which is also apocalyptic.
Anyway, their little cookout is interrupted by a weird noise coming from outside. There are astronaut-looking guys making their way from the field of windmills. Apparently, these are windmill people because Sure, okay. And the completely normal cannibals decide to bug right the fuck out of there. Daddy grabs up that magic ratchet wrench on the way out, which is just the part Buddy mentioned needing for their car earlier. Foreshadowing.
I love that he just ratchets something under the under the dashboard and the car just starts working.
Yeah, it's like he hotwires the car with the ratchet socket wrench.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how you hotwire a car.
All the best cars have those quirky little ways to start.
This particular scene is always stuck in my mind from this movie. Like anytime I think of this, I think of these wide angle, low angle shots of dudes in spacesuits, walking through the laundry on the lines. It's a very much an artistic choice. Yeah,
it's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, I didn't say it wasn't cool. It's just also very memorable.
Yeah, it is. It's there's really some interesting cinematography choices in this movie, and even if it's like it's very avant-garde, I think.
I have a theory about the framing, but I'll save it for later.
The family all pile into the car, which can now be started with the ratchet, and they sputter off, leaving the kid to his fate with the Junkyard Astronauts, which is a great band name, by the way. The suits are actually as ragged, cobbled together and apocalyptic as anything else, and they start tearing apart the house. Sorry, not the suits, but the astronaut windmill people start tearing apart the house to get to the kid.
9 out of 10 wasteland weirdos agree. That kid would make some good eating.
Buddy, having stopped for a nap a little ways down the road, is awoken by the fleeing cannibals, and he realizes that something is not quite right here. Just as the spacesuit guys are about to grab the kid, Buddy arrives back at the house and starts a stabbing and a slicing like he's a hedge trimmer on nitrous.
Ooh.
He makes a point of telling the kid that just because he happens to have come to the rescue a third time, it definitely doesn't mean anything. It's not like he cares, but if you save someone's life 3 times, then you know they are going to be on you like a skin condition for which there ain't no cure. That's like Wasteland Law number 1, bro. Anyway, the bunch of raggedy windmill people in their homemade spacesuits are no match for Buddy on account of they are dog shit. Fortunately for our heroes, in among the junk scattered around the place is a ruined motorbike, and with just a little bit of kicking and cajoling, the engine starts. Back on the road, folks.
Yeah, it definitely feels like there's a serious challenge rating imbalance in this fight. Like the mutants, that was like, okay, that is a well-balanced fight for Buddy, but these guys was just like, I don't even know if he got any experience points for it, to be honest.
I love that it's the boy who starts to whine when they pass the bike, and he insists that the samurai try to do something, and when he fails, the kid kicks it and gets it to work.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, he's actually contributing something to this relationship, the boy.
Yeah.
Whether Buddy recognizes it is another story, though.
True.
With Buddy and the boy back on the road and increasing their carbon footprint, it is time to catch up on Death and the gang and see what fun japes they are getting up to. It looks like Death is making a point of offing any rock and rolling types who might think they have a shot at making it to Las Vegas. Death intends to be the only one left to take over, and he takes the guitar picks of anyone in his way as a trophy. Clearly, Buddy is on his shit list.
So this is actually where I kind of want to talk about framing for a second. Are we still doing
Go
framing?
for it.
Yeah. No. So,
I like that joke.
Before you get into your big thing, him taking everybody's guitar picks to save his little souvenirs reminds me of that one, the mechanical Sith, who would take everybody's lightsabers after he killed them.
Oh, you're talking about General Grievous?
Yeah,
that guy,
Grievous,
yeah.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of that same thing.
The guy who was a asthmatic robot.
Hello there.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, all of this is like throwbacks to samurai movies. That's like a pretty common trope. But even that I think is important here. So like this is where the framing really gets wild, right? Because the whole, I mean, it's pretty short, but the fight where he like takes out that other samurai guitar guy, like all we see are the feet. The whole thing is shot really long, wide, anisotropic style. Like all you see are the feet, except everything else in the frame is that like shimmering, like water reflection. So you kind of see the fight in that, and then he falls into, as he falls, collapses, right? He falls into that. So what's I think actually really going on here is this is a reflection of how we are not fully in the real world, right? This isn't just reality. This is kind of almost like an astral plane, kind of like
it's almost like magical realism or something.
Yes, exactly. Magical. Yeah, no. So, and this cut in particular, no pun intended, is the first really hard transition to that. Because if you think about it, all the other fights are really frustratingly shot, right? Where the camera is focused on center mass of the bodies, and the arms that are moving the swords around and blocking and cutting are like just frustratingly on the edges. There's actually some pretty decent choreography going on there, and you just can't quite make it out. And so that weird framing on the body is all about the subtle body concept and how we are now transitioning from being sort of in limbo between the physical realm and the astral realm to fully entering into this like dreamscape. And when he kills the samurai and he takes their picks, right? Those picks are representative of their dreams, both literal and figurative.
Huh.
That's pretty deep. You know, another thing that I like that we haven't mentioned is that there is a narrator voice over the radio that's broadcasting that sounds very much like Wolfman Jack and is credited as the Wolfman. But,
yeah, he even names himself as the Wolf. Yeah, and this moment right here actually is really interesting even further because for a brief second, and there's no explanation for it, as far as I can tell, it doesn't happen again in the movie, Death takes over the airwaves. He's talking over the airwaves.
That's true.
Wolfman comes back later, but so like that's how powerful Death is becoming by taking on and stealing the hopes and dreams of these other samurai, that he can take on the narrator to this entire like liminal space.
Yep. No, that's some really insightful shit there.
That is what I'm here for.
Oh, that's what he's here for.
Fuck you.
I think he just likes guitar picks.
I mean, that too. Who doesn't like guitar pick?
Well, meanwhile, Buddy and the kid are making good time on the bike until randomly they hit a rock or something and get thrown off. Buddy makes sure to shield his precious guitar from any injury, but fuck that kid. He gets thrown and starts to wail about it. For some reason, simply yelling at the kid to stop crying doesn't work. Who could have seen that one coming?
Anyone who's ever spent more than 5 minutes with a kid?
It's not like you're going to comfort him or anything. Holy shit. But he gives up and just flops over. And suddenly the kid laughs. Looks like physical comedy was his thing all along.
That is a tried and true trick. Your kid's throwing a tantrum or, a whiny, you copy them, throws them for a loop. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? Adults don't do this. And then it's over. They've forgotten what they were crying about.
Except for my oldest, she got mad.
Well, but still threw her off.
No, she got mad.
No, she saw right through it.
Yep. It's like, how dare you mock me?
If a baby is throwing a tantrum and you want them to stop crying, just take a slice of cheese and just throw it on their head, and it like startles the hell out of them, and they stop crying. And then you have a slice of cheese too.
If they're old enough, they'll just eat the cheese.
Speaking of physical comedy, in a charming, almost silent movie scene that comes out of nowhere, Buddy capers and pratfalls to the delight of the kid, and it's like we're suddenly in an apocalyptic Charlie Chaplin short, which, actually, that'd be really cool. Finally, Buddy decides that's enough and just carries the kid away. He almost forgets to bring along his guitar. Almost. Of course, it doesn't mean he cares or anything. Who said that?
So, I gotta say, it is a kind of a silent scene, but it's kind of not. And I kind of understand why Buddy carries the kid off, because he just keeps fucking shrieking. Like, he laughs and then goes back to crying, and they just do literally both at the same time, which is bizarre. And normally,
there's definitely a point where the kid is putting it on and putting on the crying just to get Buddy to keep going.
Yeah, he's a kid actor, but I gotta say, this bit right here, oh my god, ear grating. That child, oh my god, I was kind of hoping he was the next sword victim for a hot second.
You know what I like about this scene is when he finally carries him off, the kid's whining, but with every step you start hearing him go and the actor who plays Buddy, what's his name, Jeremy Falcon?
Yes.
Something like that, Johnny Falcone.
Johnny Falcone. I mean, this is some really good, like, stunt work and physical comedy. I know this guy's background was martial arts and, like, a stunt performer, but it's sort of a shame that he never really did anything else big like this, because he had some skills, you know?
I don't know that I'd say this was big.
But my apologies, it's not Johnny Falcone.
It's Jeffrey Falcone,
which is probably why he didn't make it big. Because if with a name like Johnny Falcone, you are going places.
Yeah, but Jeffrey Falcone.
Yeah.
Out in the wasteland, Death is still knocking off potential successors to the king as Buddy comes to the next town on the way to the end of the world. There's a bunch of weirdos on the outskirts selling, quote, nasty-ass toilet water, end quote, led by a little chap who is surly, rude, and probably violent. Buddy asks how he is with kids, sensing a potential adoption in the works, and the guy replies, terrible, which is good enough for Buddy. Kid will surely be safe here while Buddy takes care of business.
That, by the way, that was probably like one of the best lines of the whole movie, right? Where he's like, yo, man, I'm not looking to rumble with you. I just want a taste of your nasty-ass toilet water. Like, I died.
Hey. Now that the kid is dealt with, Buddy's business turns out to be booze and sex at the nearest bar. Given the overall state of things, it's impossible to know if it's a dive or a resort. There are lovely ladies here who seem to be interested in making time for a reasonable fee, if you know what I mean. Seems like a fun joint. However, Death is never far away, and in fact, he strolls into town, right past the kid who is still sat with the water-selling gang. Kid realizes right away that this might spell trouble. Buddy is sitting bolt upright on a shabby mattress while a lovely lady wriggles about, trying to persuade him to stop thinking about his quest for a moment. This effort will fail. Death enters the bar along with his boys, quickly followed by the kid who shouts out just in time to alert Buddy to the danger. Hilariously, he's still on that mattress looking completely uninterested in the lovely lady, but with his pants off when he hears the kid and realizes something's up. No time to make kissy face when it's time to rumble.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
That is the most disinterested I've ever seen someone be.
It was pretty notable.
In the main room of the bar, another rocker challenges Buddy as soon as he walks by. It's your classic rock and roll sword-wielding showdown. Naturally, Buddy smacks this guy around a little and tells him to get a real life and a girl and a picket fence because this kind of thing is dangerous. He meets the kid, who tries to warn Buddy, and even manages, shocker of shockers, to rattle off a single gargled, death! Buddy takes this sudden verbalization in stride and tells the kid to stop worrying. It'll all be okay. So it looks like Buddy has a heart after all. Maybe everything will be all right. Unbeknownst to them, Death has been watching this whole exchange. Death tells his gang that he now knows that Buddy has a weakness. His heart. Maybe everything won't be all right.
Hey, you can't come in here right now. We are closed down. Had a mass food poisoning incident. Some government folks put us in quarantine. Dang it.
I'm looking for a group of strangers. You'd know them if you saw them. Movie types. Talk about film when they ain't arguing amongst themselves. Kinda mean, kinda helpless, and real stupid.
Got a sign and everything. I thought I locked that door.
Ain't no door gonna be a problem for me, Pilgrim. Strangers. Seen them?
Seen them? Them crazy bastards came in here, caused a huge mess, ruined my goddamn business, and just left without even picking up their tab. I hate those guys.
Then I guess this is your lucky afternoon. Where are they at now?
They headed off down to the nearby miniature city. It's a bit of a local tourist attraction. Kind of run down nowadays, but it's about 452 meters that away.
That's weirdly specific.
Well, I'm a weirdly specific kind of gal. Say, you gonna, get them? Get those guys?
You got a problem with that?
Oh, hell no. Kill them assholes. Get it over with.
Nah. Reckon I'm gonna walk over there real slow so they can see me and my boys coming. Give them time to think of a plan before I send in the members of my gang one at a time, before dramatically showing up right at the end.
That seems kinda Overly dramatic and drawn out?
I'm an overly dramatic and drawn out kind of guy. Adios, amigo.
So, I'm thinking we start off simple, with some esoteric fusion, dark wave, mystical riffs.
The spoons lend themselves to more upbeat, jaunty shanties about drunken sailors and the girls what done them wrong.
Wait. When do I come in with an aggressive trumpet solo? I'm thinking I just wail for like 10, 15 minutes in the middle.
I'm having a bit of a trouble getting our concept here. This is supposed to be music. It's all sounding a bit experimental to me. Andrea, how are you coming along? You still with us there? You look like you're in the middle of a reverie of regret and recrimination or something.
Oh, sorry. I was daydreaming about past arguments.
Andrea. It's not my fault. Ozzy says he's not using those lyrics. Why would anyone get on a train, which is crazy?
What? You tell the Prince of Darkness that while he's sulking, I'm out here doing his dirty work. Literally. I just got finished with the laundry. I'm trying to iron, man.
He's not going to like that, Andrea.
You're just being paranoid.
You might be onto something there. That gives me an idea.
I'll just deal with this myself. Ozzy? Working with a band can be difficult. Figure it out, guys.
Everybody, shut up. We're not going to have any chanting, no mariachi madness, and no shanties. This isn't a chance for you to live out your childhood dreams and express yourselves in your own unique way. This is rock and goddamn roll. And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3, and...
This is really a crazy detailed model. I mean, the tiny houses all have tiny people. Did you see the tiny dog pissing on the tiny lamppost?
Who would even build all this crap? And why?
I mean, that's the rule with tourist attractions. It's either got to be the world's biggest something or the world's smallest something. No in between. And even better, if it's a big version of something that's usually small or a small version of something that's usually big.
Where's the little gift shop? That's the other rule about tourist attractions.
There's no time for little gift shops.
You always let us go to the gift shop.
Hey, well, we're out in the model suburbs now, so there should be plenty of time and room for... Ow! What the fuck? Hey, you guys, look at this!
Now, this is interesting. It looks like a miniature strip mall of the damned. Wow, look, it's perfect.
What's that? They're in the parking concourse.
Looks like the tiny people are having a tiny party. Odd. But so what?
Look closer. See that?
Oh, there's a banner with writing, but it's tiny. I almost can't quite make it out.
Here, Professor, try my glasses. Maybe if you hold them over yours, that'll kind of work like a magnifying glass.
Or burn out your eyes, but we'll see.
Okay, let's take a look. Grand reopening. Oh my god, this is a whole new strip mall of the damned. According to this sign, it just got rebuilt like a month ago.
Wait, hang on, that makes no sense. Why would someone put this here?
Crazy attention to detail?
Does this mean that our strip mall has reopened? We can go home?
We have a home?
We might go home?
We will go home.
We must go home!
Alrighty, let's turn this party bus around and head out.
Alright, I think I have secured us a paying gig in Pasadena. If we hurry, we can just about...
Shut up, we're done with that. We're on to a new thing.
Actually, I think I know of a little old lady from there. Anyway, just as soon as we're finished conclaving.
I once knew a man from Nantucket.
Reunited after the recent unpleasantness, Buddy and the kid come to a desert. Aren't they already in a desert? I mean, maybe it's just a new part of the desert.
Aren't we all in a desert?
Yeah, it's a wasteland.
Okay, extra deserty part of the wasteland. Buddy looks on the bright side. Kinda like a beach, right? Everyone loves a beach. Life is a beach. No. Unfortunately, Death and his gang are getting closer and closer.
I actually love this part because they're talking about reminiscences from his past, and the kid's like, what's a beach? No concept at all.
I really want to scream at the kid, you are. But
you little beach.
And remember that young would-be guitar desperado from the bar that challenged Buddy? Well, he's back, and it's time for a throwdown showdown in the dunes. The young man throws caution, guitar, and even shoes to the wind and runs barefoot and screaming at Buddy, waving a rather nifty Chinese-looking sword.
I'd well actually you that it's a Zhu Hando, a 9-ring broadsword, but I just butcher the pronunciation, so I'm not going to do that.
Good.
Much appreciated, sir.
Yuan Dao?
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Well, Buddy and I are equally unfazed, and he doesn't even draw his katana. Instead, he effortlessly grabs the youngster's sword and slices him with his own weapon, which is kind of rude if you think about it. Regrets? Maybe a couple. But that's the life of a rock and rollin' wasteland rollicker. Buddy remarks that he needs a new gig. Being the king is turning out to be a bum deal. He goes so far as to drop his samurai sword, obliging the kid to pick it up, drag it along, and hand it back to Buddy. He could still be a good king after all. Moment of doubt passed. Onwards with the quest.
Dun, dun, dun.
One of my favorite lines from this scene is, I don't have a kid, only this guitar.
Priority.
He just has not accepted it. He should accept it.
We know where his priorities lie. Late night in the desert, and holy shit, did you know the kid could talk just fine all along? What the fuck, man? Maybe he's been silent till now because all he really has to share are classic car factoids. Or maybe he's severely traumatized. So I guess we were better off with the grunting and whining.
We were not.
Crossing the desert the next day sure takes a toll on our heroes, and they collapse in the sand. Death and his band of archers arrive, and an arrow clonks into Buddy's guitar. Death can tell it's Buddy's guitar just from the sound it makes being arrowed. 1957 hollow body 6-string. Recognize it anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guitar takes a surprising amount of beating. I don't think it's wood. I'm pretty sure it's titanium.
Kevlar, maybe?
Kevlar Guitar. There's a band name.
Yeah, there you go.
Kevlar Guitar and the Junkyard Astronauts.
No, the Junkyard Astronauts, that's their first album is Kevlar Guitar.
With the bonus track, That's Not My Kid. Or maybe that's their hit single.
The kid is not my son.
No singing.
Too late.
They surround the kid, and Death makes an offer. Hand over the guitar, and the kid gets to walk. This is what it comes down to. Will Buddy let his compassion for the kid derail his quest? He walks up to the gang as if to offer them the guitar and his surrender, then starts wailing on them with it instead. No need for character-defining choices when clever fistcuffery will do.
Damn straight.
This is a good time for a strategic withdrawal, and Buddy legs it across the dunes with the kid on his shoulders. As soon as the kid is safely dispatched down a large dune using the guitar as a sled, Buddy mixes things up, effortlessly dodging arrows from Death's gang. Maybe he can't take them all, but he buys enough time to cover the kid's escape. The kid slides into yet another field of windmills, which is actually the same one from before, just shot from a different angle. He's not so safe after all, when someone, or something, drags him into a maintenance tube. Buddy manages to evade Death yet again and goes spelunking to find the kid.
There's a cream for that.
But he drops big rocks into the water?
Spelunking is exploring caves.
That's caving.
No,
I thought spelunking is when you drop large rocks off a bridge into a river.
Well, you are incorrect.
No, that's just splunking.
No, that's just being an asshole on a bridge.
spelunking is diving down into caves.
Okay, well, that's what I got from Calvin and Hobbes.
Ah, yes, the source of truth for all things.
And can we just admire that shot of the kid going down this massive sand dune on a guitar? Beautiful.
That was pretty.
yeah.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Shooting in a desert is not easy either.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not at all.
According to the Oxford Dictionary, spelunking is the exploration of caves, especially as a hobby.
Thank you, Professor.
Sorry, Professor, didn't mean to step on your toes.
I can't believe she actually will actually me.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, I can dish it as well as I can take it.
Oh.
Well, actually, it's really only men who can well actually women. That's just kind of how it goes.
Well, I think she will actually me.
Well, actually, I just actually his ass, and I think I've just proven you wrong.
It's a well actually inception.
I'll allow it.
All right, come on. On butts.
As above, so below. And the tunnels are just chock full of, yes, apocalyptic mutant types. Specifically, the types that like to pit their victims against each other in brutal death matches.
Yay!
In this, remember that other vile brat from the gas station? The one that started the mutant fight and then got bow and arrowed down by them? Well, here he is, declaring, "Welcome to hell!" When, to be honest, it doesn't look that much worse than the top side. At least it's in the shade.
That's true.
It's a very specific 1990s underground deathmatch arena as well. I mean, we've seen this in a lot of films.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you don't have one-on-one death matches, like Gladiator style, what the hell's... Your movie's not going anywhere.
I mean, that's day one in the nuclear wasteland. First set up your death arena.
Right?
If I've learned anything from Bloodsport, it's called a kumite.
You're a kumite.
Your mom's a kumite.
That's what she said.
Ooh. You gonna take that?
No, but your mom is.
Oh!
Taking inspiration from the butt? What?
Oh, I know this is only an audio format, but I just face-palmed really hard, and you all need to know that. Taking inspiration from Buddy's example, the kid handily lays his opponent out with a well-meaning right hook. The prize turns out to be pretty lame, though. Even the victor gets sacrificed because it's just that kind of death arena. And this time, sacrificed to some yet deeper species of mutant that we only meet through a tube with a glowing eye on the end that we will never learn more about.
Must be the spinach monster.
That's all you need to know about that. Don't ask any more questions.
Ah, but we don't have to. We've already gotten all of the tools we need. I mean, let's just take a moment to examine the way this scene so eloquently frames Blavatsky's 19th century secret doctrine.
Okay, Daniel. No one signed up for a lecture. We are not auditing your course.
Yeah.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Your mom's a spinach monster.
Your mom's Blavatsky.
Overruled?
This reminds me of Futurama, where they had the sewer. The mutants lived in the sewer, but then there was the sub-sewer, but they never talked about it. They just flushed stuff down a bigger toilet. Buddy finds his way down there looking for his young friend and starts laying waste to these mutant fools. Looks like once again, mindless violence and rock and roll martial arts save the day.
Woo!
The guys make their way out of the underground and realize that they've left the desert. Las Vegas and the end of the quest aren't far now. It's all gonna work out. Finding a rusty old bicycle, the journey resumes.
I love how their form of transportation gets downgraded every time.
I know.
Starts in a car, motorcycle.
But I love that they use a bike. I love that they use a bike because in so many post-apocalyptic or wasteland or disaster things, people are like scrounging for gas and trying to get vehicles working. And if that doesn't work, then they resort to walking. Like, there's an in-between between motorized vehicles and walking. Use a fucking bike.
Oh,
like, I can walk 4 miles an hour if I'm, like, really hoofing it. But I can bike 12 miles an hour easily.
You just inspired my next film. Have you ever seen Turbo Kid?
Yes. I love that movie.
I apologize, everyone, for inspiring Zach. I really sincerely apologize. Wish I had done that.
That's a good one.
Something's bothering me. Why would anyone rebuild our shitty strip mall anyway? And even if they did, why would they go to the trouble of dating a model city all the way out here to reflect that fact?
Because of reasons?
Because it's a grim omen of something or other?
Because someone's sending us a message?
Because who cares? I'm sick of running around the country anyway. We've defeated every cinema assassin that's come our way. I'm pretty sure we got them all, so let's go home.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, every single one of them. All defeated at our hands.
I have news of quite important nature.
Each and every one, which means there's nothing else standing in our way.
It really is rather urgent.
There's no one left to stop us now.
There's nothing else for it.
You realize this means war.
Apologies, but look! They're on the horizon.
That weird-looking bush?
That big rock that looks like a couple of dogs doing the nasty?
A bunch of burning tires?
Not quite there yet. Keep going.
And a sinister-looking guy with a backing band of creeps staring at us like there's going to be a dramatic shit.
Beano!
Okay, one last bunch of cinema assassins. Are we really gonna have to do this? Why don't we just run away? That's always worked before.
Fear not, dear friends. I may have been secretly working as an undercover spy all along, helping the High Council track you down.
Wait, what the fucking what?
But I will not let you down anymore. Have at you, demon! Hey!
Back up a second. He's been doing what?
Well, that explains how they've been following us all this time.
I thought it was because we insisted on podcasting everything we're doing constantly.
And I told you not to worry about it. See? It was just a spy in our ranks all along.
I won't let you harm my friends. Not when I have this.
What is that, a stolen map of time holes connecting each and every point in history throughout the universe?
Correct. I knew this would come in handy one day. Now let's see. Carry the 3, 9 degrees that way, and... Ooh! I'll be back in a moment. Wait here.
Well, no. Onward, boys. Let us get paid.
We'll be safe in here. This is a really pretty good door.
Is it me, or did the old bastard just fall through a time portal? I thought we were done with time portals ages ago.
That's so last season.
And Time Bandits was ages ago. Where the hell did he get that map from?
I think you mean, when the hell did he get the map from?
Shut up! Someone make a note. We need to lock our artifacts away more securely.
No, you do it.
Fair enough. On with the Conclave.
Buddy and the kid, now on a bicycle, pass by the wreckage of their former car. Looks like the family of completely normal folk who took it managed to make it this far, but luck always runs out eventually, even for wasteland cannibals. A convenient sign left on the car says, "Condemned by the Red Army." Can't imagine that's a bad omen of things to come. Someone shouts out in Russian, and a soldier appears from behind a makeshift barricade of sandbags and barbed wire. Looks like it's the Red Army, and that's a bad omen of things to come. A short way down the road, they come to a roadblock manned by angry Russian soldiers.
Is there any other type?
Looks like it's a really bad omen of things to come. The war may be long over, but a few hundred angry Russians just aren't going to let it lie, so they decide to make a bad day worse for Buddy. He announces he's going to be the new rock and roll king of Vegas, and they better just back down. The kid is definitely taking notes on his style at this point. Buddy is just so cool, and the kid knows it. The Russians are ready to fight, which suits Buddy just fine. These Russians hate rock and roll. They like a nice poker, and that doesn't suit Buddy at all. Buddy tells the kid to get out of here while he takes care of this, and a gigantic rumble ensues.
A rumble indeed.
There are explosions, smoke, lots of yelling and running around. The whole sort of general thing you get when the Red Army gets a workers' paradise bee in its collectivist shared people's bonnet.
You remember when we fought Russians? I mean, mainly we just ran away, but there were Russians, right? Cosmonauts?
Yeah, cosmonauts in spacesuits. It was weirdly like those.
And you did very well.
Did we actually fight them, or did we just pay the Afghanis to fight them for us?
No. We had to fight them. Don't you remember? Brother Methuselah showed up in a whole mole machine.
Oh, I'm
and
talking
everything.
about history. Sorry, I'm thinking of actual history.
That is actual history.
My bad.
That was Total Recall.
Sorry. Larger world history, not personal conclave, cinema, whatever history.
The official term is shenanigans. Thank you.
And speaking of which, no one yet has told me exactly what Cinemania is.
Moving
I have yet to see an actual
on.
written definition.
Moving on.
I will hold you to that. I will find
Moving
it.
on.
No.
Fortunately for Buddy, these guys ran out of ammunition long ago and mostly rely on sticks and the occasional cavalry saber, so Buddy is highly effective against them. Still, it's not exactly easy taking on a platoon single-handed, and by the time it's all over, he's looking distinctly worse for wear. He took a few hits in that fight, and his iconic black suit is all torn up to crap.
Yeah, and it was kind of holy to begin with. It was not in great shape.
Isn't it a platoon only 12 guys? This was more like a regiment.
Platoon is up to 20. I think it's 20 to 40 now that I think of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think you might say half battalion.
Yeah.
Let's leave the pedantry to the professor, please.
After the fight is done, he just collapses by the side of the road, and the kid arrives to help out. He might not be much good in a fight, but this kid sure has gumption, because he starts dragging the unconscious Buddy towards Las Vegas, guitar and everything. Buddy needs a brief rest is all. He's on his feet before long.
And that kid is tenacious with a capital T.
He has to pull Buddy and the guitar separately because he can't pull them both together. He does try, but it's too heavy.
Yeah, he's running this little circles of just dragging Buddy, and then he runs back for the guitar, brings the guitar out to Buddy, and then drags Buddy some more and runs back to the guitar.
Yeah, the whole rigmarole takes so long, Buddy gets better and wakes up.
Thank God.
Can you imagine if that was just the rest of the movie? He just does that all the way till they get to Vegas, and it's just all right, we're here.
Just the kids stalling for a long rest. Yeah, right.
I gotta recover my spell slot somehow.
Does that count as a short rest?
Death and his gang show up to survey the scene and try to figure out what the hell happened here. Death points out that only one man could kill so many Russians. This time, Death wants no mistakes. His gang better get Buddy, or else.
It was Rambo.
But Death was wrong. It was two men. Buddy and the kid are so close now they can actually see Las Vegas in the distance when suddenly the gang appears and demands Buddy give up his guitar, or else. Buddy tells the kid to keep going, no matter what, because it's time to face death.
Face death and face the music.
Buddy tries to hand over his guitar pick, but Death is no longer interested. That's not what Buddy values most anymore. The kid is. Realizing that he's fighting for more than just himself now, Buddy takes on Death the only way these things are done in the rock and roll apocalypse, via a kick-ass guitar battle.
Fuck yeah!
Buddy and Death are frantically playing dueling guitar solos, arrows are flying everywhere, and the kid is racing up to hand Buddy his sword, having decided not to abandon his best friend. Oh, sweet. The rock and roll riffs slow down mournfully as Buddy realizes this is it. He turns to the kid, and arrows hit him. He's protecting the kid to the last, but the music has stopped.
It's sort of like the day the music died, right?
I think that's the reference.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
The kid swings Buddy's sword ineffectually as Death's gang approach. Victory is close. But wait. Buddy pulls himself to his feet one last time, bristly with arrow wounds, but not quite out of it yet. Buddy seizes his sword and strides right up to Death for a final duel. But Death insists that Buddy is weak and defeated.
Well, I'm not dead yet. I might go for a walk.
Rock and roll must give way to the ways of heavy metal.
it's such a sad seeing the little boy wielding the huge sword, and it's so ineffectual, but he's trying so hard. Just just tugs at your heartstrings.
I gotta say, guys, this is just really, really, really heart-wrenching for me. There's no way I could pick between rock and roll and heavy metal. I'm just torn at this point.
I know, man. I know. Buddy looks like he's done for, and the kid yells at Death to leave him alone. Death is not inclined to do so, and the kid spits at him, causing a hiss of steam to erupt where the spit lands on Death's hand. The kid realizes that we're playing by Wizard of Oz rules, and hucks a whole canteen of water at Death, who dissolves in a gout of steam. Oh, what a world.
What a world, what a world.
I mean, what the fuck? Where the hell did that come from? That makes zero sense. But I mean, does anything else in this movie make any sense? Because that's how we roll.
I'm just saying, Waterworld is an entirely different apocalyptic movie.
I mean, I guess that's why he's in the desert.
Sadly, it's all too late for poor Buddy, though. The kid is all that's left. Death's gang decide that the kid has gumption, on account of the way he killed Death, and tell him that if he ever needs a band, to call them.
What do you know?
I was so disappointed. Buddy dies? No.
Well, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was inevitable.
There's nothing else to do here, and Lost Vegas awaits. The king is dead, but the kid has learned the ways of rocking and rolling from Buddy, so he picks up his fallen hero's iconic glasses and guitar. He marches off towards an unknown future, carrying with him the spirit of rock and roll. The end. For now.
No sequel than this movie has ever better earned the subtitle Electric Boogaloo.
Hey, no, actually, a lot of this was acoustic boogaloo.
But that's the thing. The sequel adds electronica.
Oh, no.
Let's not make it like any of the Tron sequels, please. Don't bring that into this.
What a movie. What an ending. Well, I guess that wraps things up. We'll just wait here snug behind this nice solid door. I'm telling you, doors never fail.
Oh, you always gotta know your door situation.
Shit! How did you do that?
Ain't you heard? I'm Mr. Death, and you ain't keep me out with no door, boy.
Do something!
I'm running out of ideas here.
We're doomed! This is the end!
Yep, that's kind of my whole deal.
Andrea, you got any ideas? You always have ideas.
Who the hell threw a TV in the swimming pool? This is coming out of your tour budget.
That would be Bonham again. He's quite upset.
We're supposed to be packing right now. We're never gonna make it to Kashmir at this rate. Seeing you all mess around like fools in the rain is a real heartbreaker.
Sorry, Andrea.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe I wasn't clear. It's a real communication breakdown. And who let that black dog in here?
Gives you an idea, actually.
I got nothing.
Wait. Zach! Grab that shitty guitar of yours. Play it like you've never played it before.
Competently.
Exactly!
This had better not mean that only rock and roll can save us now.
Okay, I can do this. No, we can do this. It's a simple 2/9 rhythm. Follow me on the backslide and watch out for the updrafts.
What does that even mean?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, you want to make this a thing? Because we can make this a thing. Boys, we got us a battle of the bands. Hand me my electric death machine.
It worked! Nothing stops a solo that metal. Come on, it's back to plan A.
Running away?
It's pretty much our only plan ever.
Works so well, though.
Let's go!
Quickly, comrades, this way.
Sorry so far. The Cinemania Society is still on the lam from their high council because somebody thought it was a good idea to get it communicated. Brother Andy in particular is getting more than a little sick of reciting these rapid-fire recaps while running his rear end off. Lost and adrift in a sea of miniaturized Americana, our protagonists have made the grave mistake of letting Brother Zachariah present the Six-String Samurai, the 1988 post-apocalyptic rock versus roll phantasmagoria in which, fuck it, you probably already know this, and besides we're trying to find shelter from fucking death themselves over here, maybe in that miniature combination tattoo parlor and taxidermist.
Everyone, watch your step.
Don't you tell me how to monologue.
And don't slip on the miniature biggest ball of twine in Minnesota.
This country sucks, even when tiny.
Up you go, buddy.
Thanks, moron.
Has anybody seen Profligator Daniel or Brother Methuselah?
Hey, over here. I bet we can rest a moment in this
Tiny bookshop.
Oh, come on, Hope. Hang in there. I'm sure we'll be safe home in no time, and you'll be reunited.
This is a song for the broken
No singing.
Not even in this conclave?
No.
It's my life.
Look what you did. There are tiny books all over the floor. All the labels are mixed up. I'll have to straighten the shelves again.
It's only a model.
Monsters!
Everyone just keep calm and conclave on while I make some tea here in the tiny cafe section.
Oh, no. Don't you dare.
We all remember what happened the last time you offered us tea. You're still on penance duty, Master Illuminator.
That's exactly my point. It's not for you. It's for that buckaroo butcher out there.
What is?
The tea that I just put poison.
All this running around is thirsty work. Whew.
Well, shit.
What?
Oh dear.
How you doing there, big guy? Feeling at all, bulgy?
No. Why? I feel great. I could judge the shit out of something right about now.
You heard him. Neither pursuit, nor poison, nor death themselves, TM, shall keep us from judgment.
That's right. Wait, poison? Well, this has been a hell of a fucking day. Well, let's do some judgment, because, I really want to get your guys' opinion on Six String Samurai, because I love this film. So, let's take it away.
Ugh. I don't know. It was weird. It was crazy. There's a backstory for, the whole zeitgeist, the whole aura of everything going on, but not for any of the characters. Where'd the orphan kid come from? Where does mom come from?
That bush over there.
What were they running from? Why were people trying to kill him? Did they have something? I mean, they were running through tall grass, so obviously someone was going to chase him down and try to kill him, because that's what you do in tall grass. But why? Why did anyone want to kill them? Did they have resources to steal or something? Just orphaning a kid for no reason? I mean, wasn't that one of our charges? Setting up an orphan with no backstory? And then the cannibals? Have we established that there's no food? Why isn't anyone growing anything? They just kind of throw you in the middle of this. There's no reason for anything. I feel like we're going back to rubber. Everything is just because fuck you, that's why. Or just because that was the easiest way to record it. Or because we didn't want to write that into the script. So, yeah, I'm definitely suffering some cinemania. I think. Maybe. I still don't have a clear definition of cinemania. Somebody needs to write that shit down, please.
No, there's no need to go into that here.
No, it's written down, but we have to keep it under lock and key because even the definition of cinemania is a source of cinemania. So.
Yeah, we keep that in the hazardous materials vault, right?
There you go. Yeah, right next to Leonard Part 6.
Let's not discuss dangerous matters now.
You guys sound like someone who plugged a power strip into itself and doesn't know why it's not working.
Doesn't everybody do that?
That's how it goes. It's just what it is. It's cinemania causes cinemania. It's cinemania.
So
yeah. Anyway,
come
it's
over
just
here. I've
because
got
it was
a
crazy
go-kart
and
set up with flashlights in the back. You can turn on the flashlights and the go-kart goes at light speed.
Oh boy.
So if you have a car that's going on light speed and you turn on the lights, do the lights work?
No.
Okay then.
No, they do, but they work behind you.
Yeah. You just leave a trail. A steaming trail.
So, Hope,
that was guilty from Hope, right?
So fucking guilty. And that poor little orphan. It reminded me of the young actor from, what was it, the Star Wars Episode 1? The poor kid who never acted again after that.
Jake Lloyd?
Yeah.
Jake Lloyd. Yeah.
I
That
feel
poor
sorry
guy.
for him.
He knows what he did.
It wasn't his fault. I blame
He got
George Lucas.
casted by George Lucas. Yeah, that's his biggest crime.
Well, he knows what he did too, but
Don't never blame the child. Anyways, yeah. So
Okay, so that's
it was just like a string of action scenes, all strung together.
or strung out.
kick-ass action scenes.
I did like the gumball scene. That was funny. Shooting gumballs, you know. We're so starved that we have to cannibalize each other, but somehow we have a stash of gumballs.
Gumballs don't go bad.
It's fuck backstory, fuck continuity.
It's not like you can live on gumballs.
I mean, I'd eat a gumball before I'd eat another person.
I'm glad we got that established.
Yeah.
I feel so much safer.
Maslow's hierarchy of gumball consumption.
Yeah. Hierarchy of starvation.
People are in that hierarchy, but first the gumballs.
Okay. So that's Guilty from Hope.
Yeah, guilty as fuck.
Okay. Andy, what do you got for me?
Well, let me take you on a voyage back through time to the distant 90s in England, where I were a lad.
Again?
And I didn't see this film when it came out, but I saw films like it. I remember things like this. And so this film fills me with a sense of nostalgic yearning. I feel a great yearning in this film, both for the 90s and for this rock and roll era, because there was this sort of 90s style that was incredibly prevalent in this film. There were a lot of films at the time like that. There were sort of weird MTV-esque kind of apocalyptic spectaculars. It very much reminded me of a whole genre of things.
Yeah, it did really have like music video vibes, the way it was shot. I'll give you
And
that.
when you were a lad in 90s Britain, as I were, you look out of the windows and you see nothing but steel grey skies and rain and the relentless march of the tripods in the distance. And so films like this were something of an escape, a promise of better things, a different, brighter world filled with rock and roll and adventure and new horizons hitherto undreamt. But those were all lies. There was nothing outside the window but more rain and more steel grey skies. Films like this, they spread a harmful idea that rock and roll will set you free and fill your heart and take you away from this dull grey place to somewhere else. Lies, all of it, lies. And therefore this film is guilty.
Well, you certainly have some big feelings about this show.
Oh, man. Is that two for Guilty?
Yeah, what can I say? It's pretty standard British stuff.
Then again, so is steak and kidney pie.
Well...
I guess I can go. I enjoy this film. I have enjoyed it every time I've seen it. I think the first time I watched it was with Zach when we were in film school, and I thought it was pretty hip at the time. I mean, it was a take on the classic post-apocalypse scene, but done in a sort of a hip, like you said, music video 90s kind of way that seemed to deconstruct the genre and poke fun at it, which hadn't really been done by that point. I mean, I guess you could look at Return of the Living Dead as being a satire of zombie movies, but specifically like post-apocalypse cinema, this kind of seemed a little bit satirical. It seemed like it wasn't taking itself that seriously, which is the first time I'd ever seen anything in a post-apocalypse genre like that. So I really enjoyed it, and I loved the really creative angles that they chose, and I'd have to say it influenced the way that I shot my student film, at least.
Mine too.
You aimed center torso mass?
No, just like they used a lot of creative angles. They used a lot of wide-angle lenses. They used a lot of subjective high and low-angle stuff. They shot it in a creative way compared to cinema of the time.
Yeah,
They really did.
And
apparently that anti-stropic section at the beginning where it feels like the dimensions are wrong, that was on purpose.
Yeah.
the anisotropic?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that how you say it? Yeah, that was apparently done on purpose to try to set the film up as like kind of
I kind of feel like
throw
the
you off
budget
kilter.
the budget
Yeah.
constrictions very much influenced how they shot it, and that gave it
absolutely.
a, sort of a vibe, you know, and so that that gave it a pushed it towards that.
Poverty is the mother of invention.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things they did. They did an awful lot with a very small budget. You know, they achieved, they had very grand designs, and they pulled it off with a shoestring budget. And I like this film so much that I showed it to the film class that I taught, where I first met Alessa. I think Alessa was in class that day, and I showed it to this group of high school students, and I remember thinking, oh, this will really blow their minds, and we all watched it. And it did kind of blow their minds, but at the same time, it made me really aware of just how painfully mid-90s it was. And I was like, oh, wow. I thought this thing was like, this is really hip and happening, and like, that it just felt dated in a way that I hadn't felt before. Like, this is the second or third time I'd had this feeling with this group.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think using terms like hip and happening makes you dated.
I feel the same way about Highlander, yeah.
Buddy Holly being the lead act didn't give it that away.
Well, I mean, Buddy Holly being from the 50s, like when I watched this in the 90s, it didn't, you know, like it was just like, okay, here's a historical figure. It wasn't like, you know, this was a guy I watched when I was a kid. No, it wasn't. It was like, okay, there's an alternate future kind of thing. And I thought it was sort of fun. But I mean, the look and the feel and the not taking itself so serious, and here's the way that they shot it, and it all really, you know, like I had this film club that we would watch movies on Fridays. I showed this to the whole class as opposed to just the film club. In the film club, we watched a bunch of different movies, one of which was Blade Runner, and that was the first time when I really felt like, wow, Blade Runner is dated. Oh man, I feel old now. But movies that didn't feel dated, oddly, were movies like The Road Warrior. Like, that was a timeless quality to that blew their minds, and nobody, like, I did not feel like, oh man, I'm an old guy showing this old movie from this old time 40 years ago or what have you. No, it felt they all dug it. It felt as current when we watched it as it felt when it first came out. I did not have that experience when we watched Six String Samurai, and that movie was much more recent compared to Road Warrior.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like that moment where you think that it's like, listen, children, as I take you on a journey through sight and sound backwards in time. And instead you realize you just kind of left your flip-flop hanging out. Like, it's like in front of us, like, oh, look at my old for everyone to see.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's how I felt about Blade Runner for sure, showing it to that group, like that film club. And then when I showed them this at the very last day of school, because this was just like, all right, everybody, let's watch a fun, goofy, weird movie that can show you what you can do with a small budget. And it just kind of felt like, oh, right. Okay. This was hip when I was a kid, and now it's not so hip, which, like I said, wasn't the case with another post-apocalypse movie I just mentioned. So anyway, for that reason, and for all the other reasons that we listed in the list of charges, I find this movie guilty.
Fair enough. Well, so putting aside for a moment, a movie that makes you feel old for having liked it once upon a time is already causing cinemania. I think you all know where I'm headed with this, which is the absolutely obvious, just dripping occult references in this movie, right? I mean, this is practically an alchemical recipe, this film, right? The whole thing lives in this like liminal space, right? That is not the real world, right? We're not just talking about a post-apocalyptic movie. This is a post-reality movie. Right?
Yeah, you're right. When you say this movie is very liminal, it hits all. Yeah.
Brother Andy. Those at home who don't know what liminal is, could we define that?
No, that's going in the vault along with Cinemania.
I don't want to deny them the pleasure of looking up what liminal spaces is. I would like them to do that homework themselves. Listeners, if you want to know what a liminal space is, go look it up. There's some really fun, enjoyable discussions. We will not deny you the pleasure of discoving that for yourselves.
Some really fun.
Yeah. So brother Andy called it, right. This movie
or
lives in a different world.
Or check out our Facebook page, and I'll post about it.
Right. There you go. I can give you some stuff for that. The movie, like the world that this movie lives in, it has a name. It's called MTV, and MTV is not the real world. Like, even a little. It was a whole other universe.
Even though there was a show called The Real World on MTV.
Yeah, that was a trick. That was to fool you. It wasn't, right? MTV was an entirely new plane of existence that teenagers in the 90s just kind of accidentally, like, projected themselves to, like, the astral realm. And I mean, Hope, I agree with you. These characters have no context. That's because they left it behind when they came to this world. They just left their lives behind. What that all really means is that this movie is a recipe for how to transpose yourself into that other world. And it is a literal portal to that other world. And like, if that's not Cinemania, I don't know what is.
So, Daniel, do you have a judgment?
I mean, didn't I just say... These things shouldn't have to be said. It's probably safer not to
Just
say. But yes, it is.
You've
Yes,
got
it's
to
guilty.
say the words.
Okay, it's guilty. Jesus. And now back to you, Andrea. Would you like to also render judgment in the most explicit way possible?
Of course I do, because I'm Professor Andrea, and I always do things very explicitly. I'm a teacher.
Yes.
Yes. So I was actually very sad because I liked a lot of this film.
Yeah.
The costumes were amazing, like this weird parasol Buddy just drags around with him all the time. All of the villains were incredible. There were some really great fight scenes, like the one that kind of kicks it off with the guys with the bowling pins that had knives inside of it.
Those are rad.
I loved all of that.
Yeah.
I'm out to play.
Yeah, very much so.
But the reason this film falls down, in my opinion, is two things. One is the kid does not get enough credit. The whole time, Buddy is like annoyed, trying to get rid of him. Yet the kid is the one who hotwires or gets the car to start off with. He's the one who finds the motorcycle and will not move until Buddy fixes it. And he's also the one who finds the bicycle. So he's great at finding transportation and fixing things. When the car overheats, he's the one that gets it back on the road. Yeah, does he get any credit for any of this? No.
Can I just say I love the bicycle bit, because in so many post-apocalyptic films, everyone's looking for gas or walking or trying to find all these ways to go places, and it's like they completely forget that bicycles exist, require little to no fuel, just your body strength.
We're really going to have to show you Turbo Kid, because it's Mad Max on bicycles. It's fantastic.
But to be fair though, most post-apocalyptic films completely forget that bicycles exist. And I was really glad that they used one in this, because I love bicycles. Coming from Davis, I have a strong love of bicycles.
I don't know, the kid, he drives me crazy, right? He's like this idiot savant mechanic, right? Because he actually fixes the motorcycle, right?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
He's got some crazy skills.
I mean,
but
he
it's
just
not
got a
even
TIA
that.
Plus certification. Where did he get it from, right? Like,
I don't know. But it's not even that. Okay, I granted he's annoying. His whine would, burst your eardrums. But at the same time, he's the one who runs off to warn Buddy that death is on his way, even after Buddy dropped him with some rando in this town.
Right.
He's also the one who literally drags Buddy's body when he's unconscious after he's been mowed down by the Soviets, and takes the guitar, which is not easy for a little child to do.
Yes.
And then at the very end, when Death is facing down Buddy, and Buddy's told the kid to get out of here, and you would want to, because this is fucking Death, he goes back and tries to fight him, and he actually succeeds by pouring water on him, he spits in the face of Death. This kid deserves some props here.
He does become the king of rock and roll at
He
the
does. But that's the thing I hate about the movie, too, because...
Actually, we don't know if he becomes the king of rock and roll. We just know he gets to Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, he defeated Death, and everybody else is dead, so by default, he's the king.
So he's the king of no one now? He's just the king of nothing?
Clearly, the kid reaches Las Vegas and then proceeds to go on a rampage of bloodbath violence in order to clear out anyone who could possibly stand against him, eventually sitting upon a skull throne that's just hastily assembled from the craniums of the fallen.
I like this headcanon. It's just he only does it from the thighs down because that's all he can reach.
I feel like the last shot of this film should have been like him on a throne, like the end of Conan, and it's like, but that was another story.
But that's
He kills everybody by being a literal ankle biter. That's what he should do.
But I also really hate the ending because even though the kid deserves more credit than he definitely gets, I was invested in Buddy. He was a cool character. I mean, he could swing a samurai sword and play a mean guitar riff. He was cool, right? Like, and the fact that he dies just short of the goal, I can't forgive it. The film, absolutely guilty. I was so excited for Buddy to reach Las Vegas, and he doesn't at the very last minute. Absolutely guilty of Cinemania.
Well, you know, I can't fault you with that. It's very Lone Wolf and Cub, the ending. Not to spoil Lone Wolf and Cub for you, but just
it's been 30 plus years. I think.
Yeah, the imagery especially of Buddy being riddled with the arrows and stuff like that. It's very much a samurai film, and samurai films, if you've watched enough of them, they do not end happy generally. You know, it's like, yes, the goal is achieved, but you gotta die. Then it's that they really believe in that to be a hero you really have to die, and that's the unfortunate part of it.
And with all judgments rendered, I believe we are yet again unanimous. Well done, fellows, fellettes, fellates, and fellall.
I ain't had no say in the matter yet. And if we be fixing to hang a film, I reckon that say oughter be had.
Shit! Have you been standing there this whole time?
I'm always around. But this time, I didn't just bring the band to play you into the ground, I brought the whole posse.
Oh, what the hell is that?
I call them the Little Deaths.
Oh, God.
Ah, shit. They brought their own typewriter.
Oh, no. No. Clark Nova is bad enough. We do not... How do more of those even exist?
And it's extremely technically on our side.
Fly, you fools! I'll hold them off!
Are you calling me out, boy? Let's see what you got in them fancy spats of yours.
Well, by me, I actually mean... Clark Nova! I choose you! Well, are you gonna heave out your typewriter, or is your ink ribbon dry?
Them's typing words, short man. Martinelli Latera. Let's do this.
I'm so confused. What genre are we in?
Clark Nova, don't hold back. Use your carriage return rocket. Fuck it up.
Get along there, Martinelli. Paper Jam slammed the varmint.
I'd count that as a solid hit.
Whose side are you on?
Clarky, are you okay? Oh, good. Okay, quick scuttle, go! Keep it off balance.
Watch out. A line left. No, justify.
Now, cut and paste.
Oh, that was a very skilled attack sequence.
Clark Nova must be leveling up.
You're all right, Martinelli. Now show 'em what you got.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's not cricket at all.
Double fucking no. No.
I think I'm
Bye, everybody.
Oh, no, not my fez.
It's evolving. It's transforming into its next model.
Steady yarn, Clark Nova. Keep your caps locked. You can do this.
Remington Steele. Use grammar hammer.
Backspace! Okay, now, italicize. Bullet list barrage. Typo trap.
Hey, so while they're busy doing that, I had a few more thoughts I wanted to air about Six String Samurai.
Let me take you back a bit to the 90s and where post-apocalyptic film was when this movie came out. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome came out, I believe, like around 87?
1985.
Or 1985. And it was a flop. It did not do as well as The Road Warrior.
No way. Mad Max flopped?
Yeah.
Initially.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they honestly, none of the Mad Max movies really made huge box office successes.
Well, it was because the people looked at that movie and said, we don't need another hero.
Yeah, exactly. They don't need another way home. Actually, a big part of it was one of George Miller's good friends, a stunt coordinator, died during the making of Beyond Thunderdome, I believe. And I'm not sure if he directed the entire thing. I think someone else took over for him for the second half, which is why it has kind of a disjointed first half and second half part. But I may be remembering that wrong. So by the 90s, what happened was to post-apocalyptic film was Kevin Costner killed it with Waterworld and The Postman. Seriously. Waterworld was called Fishtar because up until then, Ishtar had been one of the biggest flops ever. Waterworld was way over budget. I mean, being shot.
It was the biggest budget movie of the
time, and it flopped. I mean, they had sets that just sank. They had all kinds of production problems.
This just goes to show you, This is one of the three things that adds money and time to any movie: kids, animals, and anything involving water, but especially if it's on boats.
So basically the only bright spot for me in post-apocalyptic film in the 90s was Tank Girl, which was also another flop, but I just fucking loved it because it was a campy romp.
That's the bright spot?
Yeah, it was pretty dark.
Australians made a bunch of really good post-apocalypse films in the 90s, though.
Which ones were those? Because they're not coming to mind.
We'll have to...
Anyways, so...
Over there, they're called documentaries.
So... yeah, everybody would. There's a lot of people... When I talk post-apocalyptic, with Mad Max and stuff, it's just like, what if the rest of the world was like the same, just that was what happened to Australia? Australia just naturally went to Mad Max and the rest of the world is just kind of doing its thing.
Well, you had that Wim Wenders movie from 1991, Until the End of the World, which was one of the, it was a post-apocalypse film, but it was also incredibly boring. Like, one of the editions of it was 287 minutes in length.
Oh, wow. My point being, in the 90s, people were not investing anymore in big budget post-apocalyptic film thanks to Kevin Costner. And they really wouldn't for quite a while. I'm really trying to rack my brain to when post-apocalyptic films that really came back. And if it wasn't until Fury Road, that's quite a fucking long time. That's about 20 years of gap. So people who were doing post-apocalyptic films were basically doing low-budget shit. And that's where Six String Samurai came in, because Fallout was a thing, but it wasn't really a big thing. I don't think Fallout 3 had come out yet, so...
2000s.
Originally, Fallout came out in 1996, so if people wanted quality post-apocalypse entertainment, they had to go to computer games.
No, they really weren't. They were just sort of RPG, side scrollers, not side scrollers. No, they weren't side scrollers. They were more like Link, Legend of Zelda.
Definitely niche.
So that whole 1950s post-apocalyptic aesthetic hadn't really been set up yet. So Six String Samurai was very interesting in its aesthetic, to me at least. Bringing this whole alternative 1950s Road Warrior-esque and samurai movie all wrapped into one cool rock and roll bundle. And like Ethan said, when I watched it initially. This was not a mainstream movie. I saw this in an art house theater called the Nickelodeon. And I've only heard about it because I had like a bunch of screen junkie friends who told me about it and said, yeah, you got to check this out. It's fucking rad. And I did. And it was fucking rad. And it was, for the time, highly stylistic, low budget. And it had really good martial arts in it, which for something with that budget, it was what you wanted. And it had lots of cool references, like the fact that Death looks like Slash. And I think they even, like, in the credits, they call him Top Hat. And I think they even refer to him as Top Hat, his little Smurf-sounding goons. So that was why I think Six String Samurai stuck in my head so much, because literally at the time I had never seen anything like it. Unfortunately, as Ethan said, as time has gone by, it has not stayed this ultra cool thing. It looks dated, and to my jaded eyes it looks like the old. Yeah, for that reason, just like Highlander looks pretty damn crappy now. Yeah, no, honestly, Highlander, the series, is the best thing that came out of the whole Highlander franchise, which is weird. But because of that, because it makes me feel old to watch it, I am going to judge it guilty, because it's reminding me of my own goddamn mortality. And with that, I think we have another unanimous decision. Yay! So
it's funny y'all agreed that it was guilty, but for different reasons.
That's pretty on brand for us, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
that's on brand for us. Yeah,
that is on brand for us.
We kind of all end up in the same place through very different means.
Oh, one of the things I wanted to point out about this movie, about how low budget it was, did anybody else notice during the big fight with all the Russians that the bayonets on their rifles looked like they were just cardboard wrapped in tinfoil? Yeah, I noticed it, and I can't unsee it. So I'm just like, oh yeah, those Russians were really under-equipped.
Clark Nova! Get up, Clark Nova! You can't be finished!
Well, son, you gonna do something? Or you just gonna lie there and spill ink?
Oh, you bastard! I'll take you apart myself!
I'll be your hucklebearer.
You could be a huckle fuck for all I care.
Remington, ink ribbon wrangle, if you'd be so kind.
Oh no.
Oh no! Huh. Is that all it took to shut him up?
You folks got sand, I'll give you that, even if it's in your heads. Y'all gave the head honchos a real run for their dinero, but out here in the great plains of life, all them twists and turns in the road are just gonna lead you back to one place, and that place is me.
Point of order. Improper abstraction of a pronoun.
Excuse me?
You are not a place, clearly.
I am death myself. Trademark. I can be whatever, whenever, or wherever I want to be. Thank you kindly.
Ethan, what are you doing?
Desperately stalling, of course.
For what?
No idea. I was hoping one of you knew.
Well?
Oh, please. If wishes were horses, we'd all be eating unicorn steak pie right now. Have you even got geographic coordinates?
Excuse you? That's a right personal question, ain't it?
Longitude? Latitude? I thought not. You can't very well be a place if you can't even tell us where that place is.
Death is everywhere, Haas. It surrounds you and penetrates you. It binds the whole world together.
I think you're confusing that with the Force there.
And I think no one asked you, Alec Guinness.
But the objection remains. If you are neither a person nor a place, then What are you? We can't very well allow you to kill us until we've at least defined the manner of our death. It goes against all of our bylaws. Because if you aren't clearly defined, then you can't be real. Which means you're just a Cinemania-spawned hallucination. And as this is the Cinemania Society, Chapter 226, Order of the Silver Splicer, Deconis Extremamente of the Fifth Rite of Focus, members in good standing of both Costco and the Public Library of the Damned, well, we certainly can't very well be expected to succumb to so-called death by Cinemania.
Jesus, Ethan, how long have you been saving that up?
Been working on that for at least 6 years.
That was some mighty fine word flapping, boy. You may be short on ears, but you're long on mouth. Hell, I just about seen the steam coming off of your head with all that big thinking going on. I don't think I could argue none of that. Not if you gave me all the time left till the stars go out.
That's what your mother said last night, Trebek. Right, well, then I guess that about wraps things up.
Yeah, I guess it does. Does that feel real enough for ya? I'm hoping the metal cools your thoughts some before I air 'em out for good.
Oh, knock it off already.
Ow!
I am so incredibly sick of that down-home John Wayne Gacy twang of yours. Pack it up.
Ow! Quit it! What the hell?
Did you just hit him with your thongy shoe thing?
No. In American, that's a flip-flop.
No. A flip-flop is when you're hanging out of your thong.
All of you shut up or you're next. It's not a thong or a flip-flop. It's a chancla, and every tia and abuelita knows instinctively how to weaponize it. I think it's genetic or something. Hey, Death, where are you going?
That hurt. Fuck y'all. I'm hitching up on my horse and riding into the sunset.
What? You're not gonna fight me? You yellow-bellied.
No. Y'all ain't worth it.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
Kind of a letdown, really.
No, it was awesome. So perfectly on brand for this conclave. Thanks, guys. I knew you cared after all.
Technically, I think it was Tia climactic. Wait a minute, a letdown? Hope never has shoes. And Death himself is about to shoot me in the face.
I have to admit, it would have been a much splashier ending.
I will not allow it because then I would be dead.
Yes, quite tragic.
Thank you. Wait, tragic if I had died or tragic that I didn't die?
Entirely up to interpretation. I am an auteur. Don't come to Brother Andy's show expecting easy answers.
Oh, fuck you, man.
Hey, is someone going to untie me? I'm starting to get sweaty in all the wrong places. And I...
Thanks, Professor.
Anytime, Auntie.
One moment. Here it comes. Fear not, my beloved chapter mates. I have returned from the darkest of medieval times to save you. Stand down, Death, or prepare to take a face full of boulder from this, my trebuchet. Where did they go?
Gave up and rode home.
Thanks for nothing, you flea fart in a windy corridor.
Oh, sorry. I'll just go have a lie down in the corner there until this cardiac arrest passes.
Don't you dare, you lazy bum. Move this stupid catapult.
Trebuchet.
Whatever. Out of the way so we can figure out how to get back home.
Yes, of course.
So, I'm thinking we could rig a basket to Brother Methuselah's hump and huck ourselves home.
Oh, hell no. Couldn't we just get a bus?
But chapter coffers are completely empty. We haven't got enough left for a Kit Kat, let alone a Greyhound.
Well, where I'm from, we walk everywhere. Of course, this strategy relies on our being on a tiny island with reasonable distances.
You know, if someone would just untie me, I know a shortcut through the fourth hallway of Tartarus. Get us home in no time.
That sounds like an argument not to untie you.
Seconded.
Has anyone got a better idea before we starve to death in the middle of the American waste? Sorry, Heartland?
Did you say starve? I can't starve. I'm too hungry to starve.
Well, actually, I think if you look at the definition of hungriness,
you could definitely starve.
I mean, literally
nothing
be
here,
too
guys. I
hungry.
mean, look at this. I haven't had any sense of elevensies.
No way.
What now?
Do you think it's more cinema assassins?
This infernal contraption is playing hell on my allergies.
Get in, losers! We're going shopping.
Fucking time.
Suppose I'm just walking then.
This episode of the Cinemania Society was written, produced, and performed by Daniel Scribner, Hope Bravo, Ethan Ireland, Andy Slack, and Zachariah Burks, with special guest star Keith Lowell Jensen. Music by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio, with sound effects and incidental music courtesy of Epidemic Sound. Visit us on Facebook at the Cinemania Society, or email us at thecinemaniasociety@gmail.com. The Cinemania Society is a production of the Cinemania Society, LLC.
Huh. Wonder what this burner phone is for. I didn't think Brother's 6 p.m. bedtime could work a device that uses anything besides Morse code. There's only 2 speed dials programmed in. Huh. Okay, hard pass on the one labeled Octogenarians. Ooh. Maybe this other one.
Yes, what? We're in the middle of something.
Hello?
Wait, who's this?
I'm Hope. Hope Bravo. Who the fuck are you?
Hope? Oh, shit. I mean, how may I direct your call?
How about you direct me to some goddamn answers?
Right, of course. Say, you haven't happened to seen a looming, ominous figure about, have you?
Tall, 10-gallon hat, sounds like Roy Rogers? Thinks they're death incarnate?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, they fucked off after I hit them with a chancla.
I'm sorry, you said...
Fucked off. Like a baby. Say, are you the assholes responsible for tearing down the strip mall?
What? No, not at all. Whatever do you mean?
Oh, you lie worse than my 4th graders. Let me tell you something. I don't give a shit about your little cult or your Cinemania, and the video store across the hall, it was already closed, out of business. No one cared. But you know what else was in that strip mall?
Friendship?
Hell no. My bookshop. My bookshop. The Laughing Tome. Family-friendly occult books and supplies. Sure, I still had to work 7 to 2 as a school teacher to keep the lights on because nobody goddamn reads anymore unless it's under 140 characters and dancing. But I had regular clientele who really loved coming, even if it was just to browse. And it made people happy. And we had Black Magic for Babes Story Hour, and Dark Arts and Crafts class on the weekends, and a book club, and even a goddamn crochet coven.
Well, you see, it's just that...
You had to go and throw your little tantrum over a bunch of, by the way, completely harmless morons and kick over their sandcastle because they forgot to open their goddamn mail. Well, when you kicked over their sandcastle, you know what else got kicked over?
Your bookshop?
My bookshop. Now, who's going to pay for all of that? I had all kinds of awesome books you can't get on Kindle, even some signed first editions and folios, and they were all organized neatly so you could actually find things, not like Google. Someone's going to have to track down replacements and buy them and ship them and put them back on the shelves in order and restock my goddamn minibar and reimburse me for my pain and suffering for having to wander the earth like the guy from Kung Fu, except surrounded by morons and hunted by the dumbest assassin brand since the Warriors. Is it you, Cobra Commander's little brother? Should I send you the bill?
What? No! The Cinemania High Council is in no way liable for any expenses or damages caused by alleged acts of God in the form of demolition crews, municipal or otherwise.
Oh yeah? Does it say that on one of those little pieces of mail Inquisitor Ethan never read? Just tell me where you are and I'd be happy to come down there with all the paperwork so we can reach an amicable resolution. And then shove your legal bullshit down your throat and wiggle my fingers around till I feel your checkbook and squeeze.
Whoa, that is outright abusive language. Hello, what's that? Sorry, I didn't get that. I'm losing you. I'm sorry, the satellite must be going through a tunnel. Sorry. Shh. I'll try to call you back.
Loser. Asshole.
Has anybody seen my phone? I need to call a lady.
The Cinemania Society will return in 2025. We've brought you a show every week for the past 2 years, and now we're going to take a much-needed break. See you soon.